Hey, family. It's been all day. It has been literally all day. But look, here we go. And I'm being fast. Literally has been an all day situation. Ugh. Has been an all day situation trying to get to you, trying to get to you. But I'm here. So it's all good. It is your girl, Michelle Allen Franklin, honey. Mrs. Michelle D.I., Mrs. Divine Intervention. Why? Because there are no coincidences in this world. No coincidences in this world. Only God's divine intervention in our lives. And Miss Community Builder, why? Because you know your girl is going to give you the good information, honey. The things that you need for your mind, your body, your spirit, and those good emotions. Let's just get started. That's right. That's right. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, honey. It is Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free on the YouTube channel. Your girl got her notes. I got notes and notes and more notes all day. Why are we here? Why was it so important to push through? Because, boo, it is May the 3rd, 2024. Yes, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, y'all. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I know it's Friday night and everybody's like, oh my God, it's Friday night. What are we doing? Friday night. But your girl had to push through. Sometimes I just feel like, the devil gets busy trying and testing you and testing you and testing you. And sometimes you just got to persevere and just show him who's in control. He can delay, honey, but he can't take it away. And that's what we have to always remember. And so your girl is here because each and every day I want to come and give you something, whether I'm live or whether I post a video from the past. Last year, I started this after my nephew passed away and was very inspired just from the hopelessness that I felt last year after his passing, the hopelessness that I felt with my brother, with my nieces, with what was to come for myself, for my mom, for all of my family in that situation, the tragic situation of his death. And knowing the relationship that I had with depression, with grief, knowing what was to come for them, I felt like I couldn't change that situation. But the one thing that I could do was come on and help people that were having that hopeless feeling as well. And so last year, if you want to go back to the YouTube channel, last year, the whole month of May was called Faith Walk. And it is because I truly believe when you're going through, when you're in darkness, one of the things that I know for sure always helps me is my foundation of faith. Just the foundation of faith. So talking about how to, navigate your faith in crazy situations and in times when you're having the most or feeling the most darkness. For me, I'm always having issues of feeling some kind of way when my finances are in trouble, right? If my relationships are in trouble, if I'm dealing with some unforgiveness, right? So those are some things that we talked about last year was our relationships, were our finances. We read Rich Dad, Poor Dad for most of the month because I just broke it down chapter by chapter and read it as it went, as it was. This year, we are looking at just different signs and different things. We're just going to get a little bit more into, what is simple, little simple, subtle signs of depression. Um, Tonight, we're going to talk about anxiety this month. We're going to talk about grief this month. We're going to talk about PTSD this month. There are going to be some good replays because your girl has covered a lot. I have been doing this for probably the past, whatever, since 2017 is. Since 2017. And it was because I spiraled, y'all. I spiraled into darkness after my big mama and my dad passed away, my stepfather. And I did not know for 2 years I was walking in darkness and had no idea. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse now for 23 years and did not know the level of darkness that I was in. I started having panic attacks. I was diagnosed with PTSD 2 years ago. And just the unprocessed trauma and all of the things that have come up since I've been very intentional about healing and about figuring out and about this figuring out why I do the things that I do and why I make the decisions that I make and how things affect me and, the going, the being, and the doing that we do where we take care of everybody else, where we ignore ourselves, right? And so I call us the helper bees of the world, that you're always ready and willing and able to help everyone else. And you are last on the list. And I know that even when I was on the list, if somebody needed that spot, guess what? Who came off the list? I did. I came off the list. So this is about Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free is the podcast edition, the programs. It is about what Mental Health Month is about. It's about bringing education because I do believe that knowledge is power. I didn't know, and you don't know what you don't know. And there's so much that we don't know. I mean, again, just going and being and doing. So that's why we're here. Since 1949, when I looked this up, it says since 1949, Mental Health America started the month of May, acknowledging the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month. And their goal is to raise awareness and to educate the public about mental illness. It says there are 18.1% of Americans suffering from depression, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder. It aims to draw attention to suicide and reduce the stigma, all the negative attitudes, all the assumptions, right, associated, with mental health. Some of y'all know that October is also recognized. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. That means from May the 1st to May the 31st, we recognize it the whole month. They're doing programs and educational things all throughout the month, right? All these different organizations. But in October, there is a week that is recognized for mental health. It's Mental Illness Awareness Week. And that started in 1990 by the National Alliance of Mental Illness, NAMI, NAMI. You might have heard them, but they also educate and increase awareness for mental illness for that first week of October. And so sometimes people get it confused, like, wait a minute, what is this? I thought it was in October. I thought it was May. It's, for me, it's 365. And so you want to hear your girl talking about something that affects our mental health, be it depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and PTSD, because that's what I know for sure for myself, and how it affects the mind, the body, the spirit, and emotions. Statistically, 1 out of 5, this is our why, 1 out of 5 people are living with a mental illness. That means when you go to work, that means when you go out to a party, that means tonight, if you out at the club, right? It means if you're at a concert, okay? Count in the room, no matter where you are. That means at the family reunion. When you go to school each day. all of the places that you go, 1 out of 5, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Yep. That many people, it's a lot of people, y'all, that are affected and we don't even recognize it, right? It says 264 million people across the world are affected. And so this again is our why. Tonight I wanted to talk about the subtle signs because I had no idea, right? It just creeps up on you. And because we're all going and being and doing, right? Because we're all going and being and doing, and it's not so blatant in your face. When you think of depression, you really think of somebody sad, balled up in the corner, crying all day. You know, I definitely was not doing that for the 2 years that, that I had no idea the level. I definitely was not balled up in a corner somewhere. If you would have scrolled down my Facebook page, guess what? I'm out. I'm volunteering. I'm going to work. I'm doing all the things, right? All of the stuff. But um that's part of the problem is that we don't know. So let's get into these settled signs. I should have numbered them, but I did not. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's about 14 of these. I might have skipped one, but we're going to go through them. We're going to go through them tonight. These are subtle signs of depression. And just to keep in mind that everybody's body is different. So the key word for this week is pay attention, right? Pay attention to your body because these little things, you just wouldn't just not necessarily connect. Number one, appetite changes. Either you're eating too much, right? You're snacking too much, or you're not eating at all, right? It is a feeling of losing your appetite, like you just can't eat for some reason. You don't really have a full understanding why. A lot of times it's after someone has passed away, right? You just kind of lose your appetite. It could be after a loss of a job or something, traumatic in your life has happened, and you just have a loss of appetite. Or like your girl, you could be overeating. And this is what I didn't realize because after work, what was I doing? I was hitting up every uh little place that I could think, honey, Brahms, Chick-fil-A getting some waffle fries, Sonic getting some mozzarella sticks. Yeah, all of the things. And it wasn't like, you had one stressful day, right? It was every day. So in these subtle signs, let me say this, in these subtle signs, if these things are lasting over 2 weeks, okay, that is how you know there's a problem. There's something to take a look at. Number two, irritability. So irritability is kind of that reaction when you're like, nothing really big happened, but everything is like excessively sensitive to, you're just excessively sensitive to. Everything is irritating your spirit. You're easily frustrated. Mood swings, quick to anger, agitated. I want to take a minute to all of the, mothers out there, to the parents, to the husbands, to the wives, um, that are kind of snappy, right? I did not realize this because it was very much suppressed in my subconscious, but I didn't allow it to come up. But fresh after my divorce, I was very sad about it. I talk about it all the time. I started drinking because you don't even realize the things that you do in your subconscious mind. But irritability, my oldest talks about when she was younger, how snappy I was, right? This is, again, subtle signs of depression. Did I have time to acknowledge No, I had to go to school. I had to go to work. I got to take care of this girl. But your girl is snappy with the baby. My patience is not as, right? Snappy. Come on, we got to go. We got to do this. We got to do this. Not abusive. That's another thing. It's another thing. Not abusive, but snappy, right? Very short. Happy 1 minute and then had a whole attitude the next minute. We gotta go. Come on, we gotta. I could remember being in a relationship with somebody, and look, your girl is so transparent. I remember being in a relationship with somebody and I was so stressed, and stress will do this too, cause irritability. But I was stressed and kind of, in this little funk. But I was very short in the relationship with this guy. Was not me at all. But during that period of time, very, very short, right? And I could remember after I got ready to after I was over like the finish of semester. This is LVN school, so it was only a year. I'm done with the semester. I'm happy. I'm coming down off of the, all of the crazy. And then I'm trying to come back, and I'm coming back into myself. And because I've been so snappy and so nasty with this man didn't want to have nothing to do with me. And I didn't have a full understanding of it at that period of time. But irritability is huge for relationships, people. Relationships at work, your relationships with your significant other, your relationships with your children. It is tremendous. And so this is, again, subtle, very subtle signs. Pay attention to that irritability. Learn from your girl. Sleep difficulties. So either you're struggling to fall asleep, or you're waking up frequently at night, you're waking up too early, or you just can't sleep at all. Like you just can't go to sleep at all. You're just up. I could remember coming home from work and being exhausted during the daytime at work. Like as soon as I get home, in my faithful, soon as I get home. I ain't making it up to you. I won't go to bed is what I wanted to do. I would be so tired. And I would get home and I could remember at midnight being like, oh my God, it's midnight. And still not going to bed till about 1:30, 2 o'clock. Exhausted, and not able to fall asleep. I didn't know. It's a sign, very subtle. Restlessness, right? Restlessness. And this says, of course, as you get older, it's harder to fall asleep. And so it's harder to sleep soundly. Like you hear every little thing, right? Because you're getting up and going to the bathroom. You might be having pain. You might be, just having restless leg and things like that. Stuff like that happens when you get older. And so you just want to pay attention that it's not that. It is something different when you don't have another reason for the insomnia, right? That something is going on if this is lasting longer than 2 weeks, that you're struggling to sleep. Number 4, pain. Now, this is amazing how your body responds when you are depressed about something. So say it's your finances. For me, whenever my finances were an issue, I would feel it all up here in my neck and in my back. I had so many knots in my back before I started getting my massages and things years ago. Got very intentional about my healing. But whenever I was highly stressed or either deep in the valley, that is where it showed up. In my shoulders, in my neck. And when I say knots, muscle spasms, back aches, stomach aches, soreness, just unexplained pain. Stuff is hurting. You don't know why it's hurting, right? This distressing feeling comes over you. It is just unexplained pain. That is a subtle sign of early signs of depression. So again, if it's lasting longer than 2 weeks, there's really no reason for the pain. You don't know where it's coming from, why it's coming, what's going on. All of a sudden your stomach is all jacked up. All of a sudden your back is hurting, soreness, subtle signs of depression, guys. Number 5, guilt. Having this emotion called guilt is when a person believes or realizes that they have compromised their own standards of conduct or have violated their universal moral standard. It's how you're feeling about yourself, that you've done something and you're feeling so guilty about it. Now, this is really important, especially for our teenagers that maybe behaving some way. Maybe they're hanging out with their friends, maybe they're sneaking out the house, maybe they're doing some things that they're not supposed to be doing. Guilt is a very subtle sign that leads through and into depression. Okay. They have You have compromised your standards. So the worthlessness, develops. You start blaming yourself, right, for things. This helplessness develops in your spirit. Okay. If you are struggling, um, if you are struggling, you may start drinking, you may start drugging, you may start partying, you may start sexing, right? Um, all these things, hanging out. You may start disrespecting your wife. You may start disrespecting your husband out of guilt and shame and from attacks of somebody else, right? All these things could cause you to have guilt because it's sitting outside of who you are. I worked with a couple one time, and the husband was always very, very guilt stricken after his behavior, right? And so these, again, very, very subtle signs. It was almost like he couldn't control it. He had PTSD, very undiagnosed, and would snap and would just have these bouts of disrespect and different things. And then he would feel guilty about it. That can cause you to feel some kind of way about yourself. It's going to affect your spirit, right? And so it's these little things. Affecting your spirit conflict. I'm checking my notes. This is so many, guys. I got notes tonight. I didn't want to miss anything. Moving on. Number 6, decreased energy, fatigue, low energy is another sign. Decreased energy, fatigue, low energy. You can be getting as much sleep. You could go to bed early. You wake up drained. Oh my God, you come home, I'm tired, go to sleep, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning feeling like it's 8 o'clock at night, like you just went to bed. You're still exhausted. Yeah. It says over 90% of people struggling with depression have this overwhelming feeling of fatigue. I could remember that as well. I wasn't sleeping. And then when I started sleeping, it was like nothing happened. I always felt like I just went to sleep. It always felt like that. Like I was always exhausted. Going and going and going. Or like you've been laying around all day and it's really no reason for you to be tired and you're exhausted. So, decreased energy. All right. Number 7. I think that's number 8. Sorry. Difficulty concentrating. Hard to remember or make a decision. It's hard for you to remember things or even make a decision. I was in my gratitude class this morning, and one of the ladies was talking about her husband. I'm sorry. We all laugh. I'm so sorry. I just scarfed down a pop tart. I'm trying to get some sugar in me before the live so I can get some energy. The wife, she was talking about her ex-husband, and his behavior, but how he could not make a decision. They were in different situations. So, it's kind of very apparent that he was having some guilt and having some depression and having probably some things going on. But she was talking about how hard it was for him to just make a decision for himself. This is very important for you men because a lot of men can't, figure things out on their own. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just need help, difficulty concentrating, hard to remember stuff. You walk in the room, what was I supposed to do? What was I doing? Okay. Lack of focus, feelings of overwhelm, um, just like you just forget everything. Or you just like, you get so overwhelmed where you're just like, forget about it. I can't even focus. I can't concentrate. I can't, just forget it. You know what I mean? Those type of feelings and those type of responses, subtle signs of depression. Again, all of these will need to last longer than 2 weeks. Okay. If you're having these and they're lasting longer than 2 weeks, then you want to start taking a look at it. Hopelessness. Okay. Hopelessness. There is this. Have you met people that are always just pessimistic about everything? And when I say pessimistic, I mean negative about everything. Like every response is negative. It doesn't matter anyway. Nobody cares. You just feel helpless in your situation. The hopelessness of not being able to see in the midst of darkness, not being able to see any light. Everything always happens to you. It's This is just my life. I'm not good enough. I'm not this and not, that's always the negative self-talk. Like that's all you hear, right? There's a hopelessness, there's a pessimistic spirit on you. That thing lasting longer than 2 weeks. And some people have this going on for years. And that's a whole nother situation. But it could be that you've been suffering again for years. I was suffering for 2 years. I had no idea. So don't think, oh, this has a time frame, because it doesn't. And it could be, oh, I've been doing that since. And think about all of the unprocessed trauma and all of the things that you might have gone through when you were younger that we've never dealt with, right? I never dealt with my divorce. I didn't deal with it for years. I didn't have time. I had to think about it. Didn't deal with the childhood trauma. Who had time? I had to go to school. I was too busy. We got to go, right? And not, especially in the African American community, we're not talking about these things. We're just going and being and doing. And so who knows how long these things have been going on. And it is, oh, that's just how so-and-so act. Is it really? Because were we born this way? Is that right? Okay. Loss of interest. Loss of interest in doing things. When you have a loss of interest, you don't want to go out and do anything. You don't enjoy your hobbies or your things that you love to do. Things that used to bring you joy no longer bring you joy. You don't want to go out the house. You don't want to go to a party. Somebody invites you to stuff. You're like, oh, you make an excuse. These are all subtle signs, y'all. And I just almost hate to admit this, but it's very true. At the beginning of 2023, was it 2023 or 2022? What's this year? 24. Yep. It was at the beginning of 2023. I want to say January. I remember my president of Black Nurses Rock had a party. It was a birthday party. I could not get myself together. Could not get myself together to go to the party. I was in a valley moment. It had started in October. When I look back at it, it started in October, November, December. By January, I was in darkness. And I remember being so excited. I really wanted to go. Really, really wanted to go. Couldn't get myself together to go. I couldn't do it. One of my girlfriends had a baby shower. I really wanted to go. I really, really wanted to go. Couldn't quite Just I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go. You know what I mean? When I say a loss of interest, like I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go. I didn't want to get dressed. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to, if I didn't have to go outside, I didn't want to go outside. I didn't. I didn't. I didn't want to be around a bunch of people. I didn't have it in me to be phony and fake and smile. I didn't feel like smiling. You know what I mean? I just didn't feel like doing anything. Right? So if you felt that way and it's lasted for longer than 2 weeks, and like I said, it started a few months back and I didn't realize it until kind of after. But loss of interest. Have you had a loss of interest? Are you staying in the house for how long? How long have you been there? Or you only come out when you have to come outside, right? That's a difference. That's a difference. I know I only got on one earring. I know somebody's telling me. I know I only have on one earring. I saw it. It's over there on the bed. It's okay. Loss of interest, anxiety. Anxiety, that is the inner turmoil. It's a paralyzing feeling. Anxiety is feeling some type of way about not being able to cope. You just having anxiety, right? It's just a subtle sign. Generally, depression and anxiety hang out together. They're bosom buddies, right? They generally hang out together. And so having an increase in anxiety whenever something is coming, like you just have this paralyzing feeling like you want to go, but you can't, right? You want to do it, but you're still, you don't move. This is the whole day passing by. You want to do something, but you just are paralyzed and you realize you've maybe been in the same spot for hours. Yeah. That's the anxiety, the paralyzing feelings. If you've ever had that, subtle signs of depression, that you may be dealing with some depression. Social isolation. Social isolation, again with the loss of interest, isolating from family and friends. This social isolation is, I wrote here, is a subtle but critical sign of depression. When you're withdrawing from social engagements, when you're declining invitations, when you stop reaching out to family and friends, that is all a very critical sign to pay attention to if you are doing this. Very critical sign. This one is big. I got two more. This one is big, y'all. And that is sex. Sexual intercourse. Low sex drive. That is a key indicator. Okay? It says it is a key indicator. It's unexplained. There's no physical reason for it. But understanding that your body and your mind is connected. And so it shuts off, right? You don't have any interest. You don't want nobody touching on you. You don't want to touch nobody. That's not a normal response, right? We are here to procreate. And not even to procreate, but let's get it on to get it in, right? We're here, right? Natural is a whole natural processes that happen, right? So if you're having a low sex drive and it's unexplained, again, lasting longer than 2 weeks, especially if you're in a relationship, that's huge. That's huge, guys. The last one, this one is really big for teenagers as well and for men, right? Recklessness. Recklessness, self-sabotaging behavior, self-destructive behavior. It is because you don't believe it matters anyway. You don't believe that you matter. You don't believe. You're like, who cares? Nobody cares about me. Your whole mentality is shifting, right? It's frequent, recurrent thoughts of suicide or recurrent thoughts of death, a suicidal ideation. So you're driving your car fast, right? You're again engaging in unprotected sex, right? You're drinking and getting drunk drinking and then driving and then coming home and passing out. Reckless behavior. You're getting into fights. You're picking fights. You might be being a bully, right? With your children, your wife, your people, strangers. It doesn't matter because he got on a he looked at you funny, right? He looked at your wife. He looked, all of those things are subtle signs of depression. And it is, what does depression look like? And so I want to start again by saying we are breaking the stigma. We have in our minds, excuse me, we have in our minds that depression again just looks like somebody in the corner crying and sad and boo-hooing all the time. Scroll down my page, honey. Scroll down my page. I take beautiful pictures. That's what I've been told anyway. Beautiful pictures, right? It's not always what it looks like. And so um I have this thing I wanted to play, but I'll have to attach it because it's my fault. I didn't set it up so that I could pull it up on my share screen. But I don't want to just talk about the signs. These are some things that you can do, right? If you are experiencing any of these subtle signs, of course, if you go to the information above or below in the description, there are signs. So it is number one, right now, the mental health hotline is 988. So, before people used to call 911, but the police are not equipped. I'm so grateful and happy that somebody realized that in the collective and they've come up with an actual hotline that's dedicated to mental health. And so that is 988 instead of 911. Um, 988, and it is a national resource. It doesn't matter what state you're in. I'm sorry, it's not international, but it is national in the United States. Um, 988. And so what they do is they give you resources that is available in your community. So you tell them your zip code, and then they can give you resources that's available. NAMI also has a hotline. Excuse me. Not NAMI does have a hotline, but I want to say the substance mental health abuse hotline is also listed, and they have a national number as well that's listed as an 800 number that's listed, and so they can help you as well. They have resources that are on there with people that are ready if you are feeling like you're having suicidal thoughts, or you're feeling like you're having this reckless behavior, or anything. You're just feeling like, today I heard somebody say, I saw a post where a girlfriend posted, my boyfriend is really, really sad. He recognizes that it's severe depression and he doesn't know what to do. Is there any resources? And she just reached out and put it on Facebook. If that's what you need to do, then do that. Like, I know that this is an uncomfortable conversation for a lot of people, and we don't always know what to do. And that's why it's so uncomfortable, because it's like, I don't know what I would do in a situation like this. But the more and more you listen, when you don't need the information, when you do need it, oh yeah, I remember. Oh, yeah, yeah, you know, you have somewhere to go. And so, and this affects everyone. Don't think that it doesn't affect you. You have no idea if it's your brother, your sister, your cousin, your grandkids. Like these children um, are exposed to so much nowadays, and things are not handled the way that we used to handle them. The bullying and everything is at a whole nother level. They don't just get bullied at school, they get bullied online. It follows them. They have their little phones all the time. It could be never ending for some of these high school kids. And so, and even middle school, they have phones, you know what I mean? So you never know who is struggling and who will need this information or who will need you to be paying attention. That is the word of the week. Pay attention. Don't let these little signs slip past you. Now, we're going to talk about early intervention is key, of course, in all things, right? But early intervention is key. So when you notice the signs, these are some things that you can do. Again, remembering that everybody is a little different, but these are some things that you can do. Number one is open communication, honey. Be open to communicating at least. Um, that when somebody tells you that there's a problem or an issue or that they're struggling, that you're not the one saying, especially if it's a man, especially if it's a boy. Okay. I was at Jarvis Christian College last month, beginning of the month, last month, and met this young man. And he told me that he had went up to one of the counselors and told her, I really need somebody to talk to. I need some counseling. I think I need some counseling, is how he said it. He said the counselor laughed. He said, I didn't know what to do, so I laughed too, but I was serious. When I tested the young man, he tested severe for anxiety and moderate severe for depression. That is that is the problem and the stigma that we have to work on, ladies. That when a man comes to us, right? Maisha was on this show last night on YouTube. Her and two other beautiful spirits. I can't remember. And Maisha is one of my mentors, one of my good sister friends that taught me a lot of this information really, really early on and helped me during my very early healing journey. But it is, the men don't have anywhere to go because we're so busy, like that's weak, or you can't cry, or you're not a man if this. Is that right? Is that right? I think it's so powerful and so sexy to see a man that's comfortable enough in his masculine to be vulnerable. Something sexy about that. I love it. Right? To see a man to want to heal. Yes. Yes. That's a beautiful thing. That's a man that's not going to be beating you. It's a man that's not going to be drinking his pain away. It's a man that's not going to be smoking or drinking or because that all leads to abuse. And it's not, that you can't smoke or drink, or don't get it twisted. But excessively is what I'm saying, because that all leads to abuse and how they handle, again, the irritability, the guilt, the anger, all of that type stuff. So us being able to, my child got allergies. My child got allergies, y'all. Us being able to support our men and support each other for open communication. So number one, open communication. Encourage the individual to express their feelings and concerns without judgment. Okay. Create a safe and supportive environment for them to share what they're experiencing. Number two is provide support. Offer some emotional support and reassurance. Let them know that they're not alone and that it's okay to seek help. Again, you may not have all the answers, right? But oh, wait a minute, I know who does. Or let me find out, Google it. If you don't remember 988, all you have to put in is mental health resources. 988 is going to pop up there, right? Number three is education. What we're doing tonight, educating yourself on the signs and symptoms that they may be experiencing, right? Sometimes simply understanding what they're going through can alleviate some of the distress. It is, again, you don't have to have and know all of the answers, but at least trying to understand why the person is doing what they're doing, not making excuses. And we're not talking about abuse. Just be very clear about that. Okay. We're not talking about abusive situations, but we're just talking about, again, if they are being a little irritable all of a sudden for the last 2 weeks, right? If they are feeling emotional or guilty about something that's been done, your children, right? That you're able to work through that thing and not dismiss it, because we will dismiss it and then we miss it. And then something tragic happens and you're on the shoulda, coulda, woulda train. Okay. Number four, encourage self care. This is important. So simple, but very, very important. Help them to establish healthy habits, regular exercise, adequate sleep, balanced nutrition, stress management, and mindfulness. Again, the paying attention, right? Oh my goodness, wait a minute. I'm a little snappy. I'm sorry. I do this right now with my baby girl. My oldest didn't have this luxury. I tell them they have two different mamas, right? They've grown up with two different mamas because my oldest didn't have the luxury for me to know that I was being irritable and snappy with her. I didn't even realize that I was until she was joking. I told this story before, but she was joking one day. That's how I realized. I'm in my very intentional healing journey, so I'm open and I'm paying attention and I'm asking God to show me different things so that I can fix and heal and all of the things, right? As it relates to my children, myself, my relationships, like all of the stuff, right? That's what you want to do. Be open to it. So we in here, in the house one day and my baby girl does something and my oldest was like, "You not gonna say nothing to her about that?" And I'm laughing like, "Oh no, she fine." Like, woo, woo, woo. I go on. Something else happened. Oh, was you gonna let her get away with that? If that was me, right? And so in my mind, it clicked. Let me pay attention to this now. And then I realized, oh, she's not playing. Like she was saying it in a joking way, but she wasn't playing, right? So I'm like, let me pay attention to this now. So I realized, and I just said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Your mama was a baby. I didn't realize I was super stressed. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Like all of the things, like whatever it is, but I acknowledged in that moment her feelings. So that is what the pay attention to your children, pay attention to what people are saying, because we can't even accept constructive feedback without getting offended, without getting hurt. But if somebody has said something to you multiple times, check, and check, honey. That's your check in the mirror. It's not your time to be offended or take offense. It's your time to do some inner work, some inner. Man, why are they saying that? Oh, are you playing or are you serious? Right? 9 times they're not playing. You've heard the stuff. People telling you have an attitude, you nasty, you fussing, you doing this or whatever. Check yourself. you know, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Number five, connect with resources. Assist them in finding appropriate resources such as therapy, support groups, helplines. Offer to accompany them to appointments if needed. Your support is everything. Your support is everything. Um, Number 6, encourage professional help. If the signs persist or worsen, encourage them to seek help from a mental health professional such as a therapist, a counselor, or a psychiatrist. Now, what is the difference? A psychiatrist is the person that's going to give you the medication. They are who are going to prescribe the medication. The psychiatrist is not for the actual talking in the conversation. It always makes it seem like it's the psychiatrist that's supposed to do this. I've had people get an attitude because they felt like the psychiatrist has spent enough time talking to them about whatever's going on. The psychiatrist's job is to make sure the medication is working, is to hear what's going on, do your intake, right? And then prescribe you the medication that you need that will help you. Because sometimes when you're having depression, when you're having anxiety, when you're having mental situations, there is a chemical imbalance. There really is a reason that something different is going on. You're feeling this way because there's actually a hormonal chemical imbalance. And the only way sometimes is to have some medication until you get to a certain level, and then you can go on with your natural resources and all of the things, right? But sometimes you need the medication. And so there's a psychiatrist is for that. A psychologist, a counselor, a therapist, those are all the people that you want to be. Those are all the people that you are talking to. And of course, there's different levels of education with each one, but all of those are the ones that you want to talk to. Now, if you have childhood trauma, everybody is not created equal, right? If you have childhood trauma, if you have PTSD, if you have addictions, if you have abuse, right? Very specialized things, you need to make sure that your therapist is educated in those things. So when you're looking up a therapist, you need to make sure, because I've had people say, I tried therapy and they didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. And it's possible because that person didn't specialize in what you actually needed. They may have just went to school and got their certificate, and maybe they don't specialize in what you actually need. And so you need to make sure that you're paying attention. Whenever I'm with my clients and my people, when I'm looking for a therapist for them, because I do my program with the understanding that if a therapist is needed, that you will allow me to find you one, and then you will follow through, right? And not everybody does need that, but if you do, those are the agreements, because I am not a therapist. Again, I'm a nurse, very experienced, but nevertheless, I am not a therapist. And so there are certain things that I do not do, right, that you need. And so, and that may be the case with a counselor, with a psychologist, with, with a therapist. And so you need to make sure that people specialize in different things. And so make sure that you find what you need. We're going to get into a little bit more of that this month. Okay. How to find the right mental health professional. Number 7, monitor progress. So check in regularly to see how they're doing, if they're making progress. Again, we're paying attention, right? We're not just tossing people out, oh, he's going to therapy, so he's going to be fine now. No, this is a process. I thought for a long time, for the first couple years anyway, I suffered because I would be going to therapy. Once I started going to therapy after the 2 years of suffering, and I started going to therapy, and I was taking my meds, and I started feeling better after like 6 months. And so I was like, oh, I don't need this anymore. I'm good. I stopped taking my meds. I was like, I was going to therapy, but, excuse me. And what happened? Plummeted back down again. And I did the same thing for a little while longer while I would come back up. Oh, I feel better. Oh, I can stop taking my meds now. Oh, I could. Nope. Then what happened? You plummeting back. So monitoring your progress, right? and not just stopping your meds, stopping your therapeutic regimen on your own. You're monitoring with whoever your mental health provider is, or might be your primary care doctor if you're not to that stage yet. Sometimes your primary care doctor will monitor, and then you want to see them every 6 months minimum, every 2 to 3 months, depending on how bad it is. But if you're seeing your PCP every 2 to 3 months, you need to be referred to a actual mental health professional. Okay. Number 8, addressing the stigma, helping them understand that seeking help for mental health concerns is a sign of strength, again, not weakness. There is no shame in getting support. This is probably the most important decision that you will ever make, to address the stigma, to decide to choose you, to not be ashamed, to not be embarrassed, to understand, again, what did the statistics say? 1 in 5. You are not the only one. What are you embarrassed about? What are you ashamed for? Everybody is going through something. They just lying and acting and pretending like they not. I promise you. I promise you. Look, I promise you. Statistically, because the 1 in 5 is just the people that said, hey, I got something going on. Do you know how many millions of people out there that we don't know about? I really feel like it's half, or 1 in 3, or half. Right? Because everybody is out there going and being and doing. I know I felt like I was fine. I thought I had moved on from the divorce. I thought I had moved on from the everything. I thought I had moved on from stuff. From the grief, from the, people passing away. But how you gonna move on from something that you just done straight up ignored, and you just going on? You ain't talked about it. Who did you talk to about it? You bottling up all these feelings. Where do you think those emotions and those feelings are going? Okay. Number 9. Promote healthy lifestyle changes. Encourage activities that promote well-being, such as engaging in hobbies, spending time with your supportive friends and family, avoiding substances like alcohol or drugs that can exacerbate mental health issues. There is something about masking the pain, and it starts off really, really, innocently, like I did, having no idea what the drinking, like, I didn't think anything of it. You want to drink? I do. What you want, what you got. Right? But the difference is, when you're doing the extra things, is when you are drinking socially, or when you're drinking and you have to have a drink. There's a difference. You have to smoke. I know people that get up, wake up and have to smoke, right? Get up and have to um, uh, take a drink. Get up and have to sniff something, right? That is when it's something that you want to start paying attention to. Again, pay attention is the word of the week. It's something that you want to start paying attention to. So, promoting healthy lifestyles and trying to get away from the crutches. And listen, this is a no judgment zone, honey. I can't even remember who it was, because I've told a couple people, but I've handled things in a way where I told y'all I was drinking. I handled things in a way where I was smoking Black and Milds, because that was the quickest way to just get them nerves to come all the way down. I remember, I was talking to this guy, and everybody knows that I don't smoke, right? Everybody knows that I don't smoke. But at that point in time, I was in nursing school. I was very, very stressed. It was just a lot going on. The bills, I was only making $6 an hour. You know what I mean? I had to pass these classes, pass or fail. Just very, very stressed. And I remember going to um, the gas station and getting 3 Black and Miles. I remember very specifically, I got a pack with 3 in them. I smoked a half of one. I remember running me a bath and smoking in the tub, and I smoked half, and I put the other 2.5 in the kitchen drawer. And my boyfriend came over at that period of time. He literally thought I was cheating on him because he was like, "Why are these here?" And I was like, "Oh, I was smoking." I was telling the truth. He was like, "But you don't smoke." And I was like, "Yeah, but I did smoke those." So he thought I was lying, but that's how I was handling it at that period of time. I've just made a conscious decision that that's not what I want to do anymore. So best believe I'm not judging, because I understand sometimes you just doing what you feel like you need to do to get by at that period of time. I'm just saying, if you are, then recognize, what you're doing. When you get ready to stop, baby, guess what? You'll stop. You will stop. So the last one, number 10, is normalize seeking help. That is what this month is all about. So we're sharing stories of others who have sought help for mental health challenges and have experienced improvement. Normalize the idea that mental health concerns are common and treatable. In my Kurt Franklin voice, can I get a witness, honey? Oh, yeah. Look, right here, I'm a witness. I am a witness. Being very intentional about my healing journey. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to come on and why I did want to share, because I do feel like, people look at me and they think, everything is perfect, everything has been fine. Because again, I take really cute pictures. Yeah, I'm always smiling, always laughing, trying to restore the joy, trying to be a breath of fresh air, bringing sunshine wherever I go. But sometimes, honey, it was raining in my life and I didn't have the sunshine, nor did I have the joy. All I had was the valley moments, right? And I feel like we all go through those valley moments, but again, it is understanding and knowing that in the valley, you can truly feel like that you're always going to be in the valley. Sometimes it feels like it is never ending, right? That is where all of the thoughts come from. That is where all of it, and you're still getting up, going to work every day. You're on autopilot, is what I call it, right? And it just that's because that's just what we've done. That's what you watch your mom do. That's what you watch your dad do. That's what you watch everybody do. Everybody just keep going. People pass away. Nobody is taking the time to mourn, right? How long are you given off of work? 3 days? I lost my mom. I lost my dad, my children, or whoever it is. And you got how many days? And then what? Back to business? You've lost a significant relationship. You were in love. Your whole life has shifted. Everything has changed. But I'm supposed to just act as if I feel okay now? When I thought my life was going this direction and now it's down here, right? Whatever your reason is or whatever it is that's going through, understand again that you are not alone. You are not alone in your situation. And so each and every day this month, we are going to be very intentionally looking at different aspects of the mental health journey. I pride myself in not doing things the normal way, going a little bit deeper, not staying on the surface where everybody else is. So, yeah, you can turn to a regular channel and they'll be talking about what depression is and blah, blah, blah. We know what it is. I need you to understand these signs and these symptoms and know that sometimes you're not going to feel well, and that's okay. But I need you to still keep walking, right? I need you to understand and know that you're not alone, because that is one of the things that the devil does, and all of that negative self-talk that's happening when you're feeling some kind of way. He makes you feel as if all you hear is nobody cares. It doesn't matter. All you it's on speaker. It's so loud in your face, in your ear, right here. That's all you can hear. That's all you can see. You can't see anything different. Your situation is not going to change. It's never going to get any better. And the devil is a liar. That's what I need you to know and to understand. So I tell people, you take this hand right here and you see this finger just like this, you pluck his ass off your shoulder. Just like that. Pluck them off. The devil is a liar. It's strange because a lot of Christians, and that's what I do as well, is I break the stigma in Christians and mental health. Because you can't be a Christian and be depressed. You can't be a Christian and have anxiety or panic attacks. And because I can and I do and I am, then what does that make me? What does that make you? Does that mean you don't believe in God? Does that mean you don't trust him? What does that mean? It means you're human, baby. It means you're human. Because again, statistically, 1 in 5 people out there suffering. You're not alone. You're not alone. That's what I need you to know today. If you don't hear anything else that I said tonight, understand that you're not alone, that there is help out there. Right now, thankfully, the world is opening up and there's so many resources, so much more resources, even when I started back in 2017. That is one of the reasons why I did start, because there probably were 2 or 3 doctors that I was aware of here in Tyler. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And that was what I was calling for my own patients before I even started with my own journey, right? And so my job this month is to educate you, is to break the stigma, is to allow you, if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want me to cover, if you need someone to talk to, all of my information is under the link tree and is attached in the description. Okay? Make an appointment. Inbox me. Let me know. Look, let me know. Let me know. Okay, no. All right, honey, that is why your girl is here. We are, for the month of May, educating and breaking the stigma associated with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and PTSD. Anything else for me are not things that I specifically cover. I cover what I know and what I've been through. And, but I do provide resources. So again, if you have any questions, let your girl know. I can get you more information if necessary. Okay. I thank each and every one of you for watching. Even if you don't reach out, just for choosing you enough to watch this, to take a minute and consider yourself, to consider your loved ones. Because what I wrote right now at this point in time, y'all, is so critical that if we don't start paying attention to this, we have to take responsibility that we are part of the problem, right? And we want to be part of the solution. I know you do. for yourself and for the people that you love. So it is your girl, Michelle Franklin, wrapping up, honey, letting you know that you are not alone. Hoping and praying that you're paying attention to these little subtle signs that you could look yourself in the mirror and be honest enough. Or whether you have to pull somebody else to the side and say, hey, you got these symptoms. We need to have a conversation. It's the point. It's the purpose. All right. You guys have enough. Have a good one. I will see y'all tomorrow. It is Miss Community Builder herself. I aspire to inspire until I expire, honey. That's what I'm doing, just like Mr. Les Brown. What's she doing? Out there with them little signs and judging everybody. No, I'm just playing. Y'all have a good one.